You ever think about how much time you spend on your phone? I mean, really, how much time do we spend on our mobile, as we call them now, our mobile devices? Mine's right here. And it's so weird because it's now, if you don't have it with you, you feel like, ooh, I'm exposed. I don't have my phone. Where does that come from? I'm not really sure. Kind of that dependency thing. But if you're like me, when you leave the house, it's generally always with you. It hasn't always been that way, but it's certainly the way it is today. Welcome to a Monday. It is the very first Monday of August. It is the third day of the month. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you got all the things done that you needed to do, and now you're ready, refreshed. Maybe not refreshed, but at least, into the work week. You're going to buy into whatever's happening the first day. It's a little bit easier than it will be as the week goes on. I'm going to start things off telling you an honest problem that I have. And I think every broadcaster has it. And that is, every once in a while, you come across certain words that just throw you. I mean, and if for no particular reason, it may not even be a hard to pronounce word or a hard spell, but for some reason, when you spend a lot of time and you're in a studio I'm not giving away any trade secrets here. We don't memorize everything when we're on television, right? We have what's called a teleprompter, which we write everything down, and then the prompter is in front of us. You can't see it because it's a piece of glass in front of the lens. And on this piece of glass, politicians use these all the time. When you see great politicians orating and speaking today, there's a real good chance they have what's called a teleprompter. It's right there in front of them. So they don't have to do a whole lot. I mean, they have to read the words that have already been written. Well, same thing for broadcasters. Almost everything that we do has been written down. So that's fine, and you're all good until certain words come across the screen. And for some reason, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be hard. Let me give you an example, all right? This word is everywhere today. Every story that you read, right? And those who are vulnerable should be, and now what is the definition? Susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. And we're using that in the light of the pandemic, right? Most people had underlying conditions. Those who are vulnerable should stay home. Well, the word, think about it, say it, vulnerable. Easy when you do it that way. But when you try to say vulnerable, it always seems like vulnerable. Okay, but that one's not really an issue. Here's the bigger issue, are words like this one. And I'm not talking about whether it's controversial or it works. I'm talking about hydroxychloroquine. The first time I saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Now we can all say it, hydroxychloroquine, right? But that's because we've heard it over and over and over and over again. But the first time you see it, when I was a younger man and I was in sports, and I did sports for a long time, about 6 years. And I say a long time, doesn't sound like much today, but 6 years of doing sports all the time. And there would always, Navratilova. And you know how to say it, but when you see it, it's like, it's gone. Hydroxychloroquine. Vulnerable. All right, all words in our language today that we seem to be using all the time. All right, coming up today, we got a lot to do. We're going to talk about what's happening in the headlines, catch up on what you might have missed over the weekend. We're also going to look at some things that are happening in the car industry that are, well, I guess that old idea, what's new again? All that coming up on the update from home. Once again, thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Dan Gresham. This is my home, and I'm happy to be in yours this morning. Maybe you're watching at the house. Maybe you're watching on the mobile device. I don't know. There are lots of places that we can certainly get the internet these days. And if you're not familiar, I am the morning show host on KFDM TV and have been for a long time. Have been doing these for months now. And it's a real simple idea. It's just a casual approach to the headlines and other observations that are happening around us in our community. And we stated from the beginning, our community and our way of thinking starts at home. Then the circles come out: home, community, region, state, country. So we try to keep it as local as possible, but we also look at things that are obviously happening elsewhere. Let's get you a look at what's going on this. Oh, by the way, I love for you to comment. Just like any other Facebook post, you can comment anytime you want. You can say hi. You can tell us where you're watching from. We love to see it. We like to read them. Let's see if we can catch up with a couple of people who might be peeking in this morning. Chris Lund, good morning to you. Hey, Chase on, back to a work week. Tracy, good morning to you as well. Also, Russus Lee is watching with us this morning. Hi, Tammy. Hope you had a good weekend. Esther Holloman, good morning to you as well. Also, Jennifer is up this morning. Pacifier syndrome. Maybe that's what that phone is. Maybe it is kind of that. Mindy Cummings, good morning to you. Hi, Susan. Iris. Tom, thanks as always for getting up and watching us in Illinois this morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Also, good morning to Joel Wiggins Sr. I see he is sending a shout out this morning. Marie Jackson, Lorraine Ellis, Joetta Mayon. Also, Peggy says good morning from out on League Road. Also, Slade Humphrey is up this morning. Teresa Lantern is up this morning. Hi, Angie. Heather Ann, good to see you. Heather Ann, are you enjoying your new job? I hope so. Heather Ann is someone who we enjoyed working with. Although, quite honestly, Heather Healy, we didn't work that much with her because she worked an opposite schedule. She worked weekends, she worked early mornings, so we didn't get a chance to see her that often. But she is doing now what we have been doing for decades, and that is getting up in the middle of the night and going to work. Heather, I just want to know, are you finally, getting used to the schedule? Can you go to sleep at night and get up and make it in? It ain't easy, but it can be done. Becky Brown, good morning to you. Betty Elliott over in Nederland, good to have you with us. Hi, Shirley James. Hope you're having a good morning so far. Also, Sammy says good morning to us, as well as Lydia Duncan in Silsby. And Dorothy Calloway says, August has hit us. Slow down. Yeah, it is coming on fast, isn't it? You can either look at it one of two different ways, I think. Either the pandemic has blurred the lines and everything seems to be running together, or it's slowed things down maybe for some people. Others, it sped things up. Either way, it has certainly had an effect on our lives in a number of different ways. Again, jump in, say good morning, want to give us a shout out. And of course, we never have a problem. If you want to hit that little blue circle that has the thumbs up, we like that too, only because it's a good reference point for us. Let's say good morning, Dan Barnett, watching in San Antonio. Hi, Dan. Just there not too long ago. Enjoyed some sights and sounds of the Alamo City. It's always surprising to me when you go to San Antonio, when you drive by the Alamo, you're like, that's it? Because, there's so much going on one side. There's Ripley's, believe it or not. There's all these different tourist venues. And the other side's the Alamo, and it's like just squeezed in the middle of the city. It's like you can just pretty much drive right by it without thinking about it. A busy weekend. I had a lot going on. We're going to talk a little bit about some of them. We probably won't get to everything, but let's jump in, take a look at some of the headlines for you this morning. One of our top stories, search for a missing Jefferson County man going on. Truck was found in Angelina County near Zavala. And the search is on this morning to try to find him. If you want to go and read the story, obviously it's there. And that's the beauty of going to KFDM.com. The stories don't go away. They're there for you, whether you're getting up early in the morning or if you're tuning in late in the afternoon, late at night. You know that school is going to be taking a big front page point of view because now we're talking about more and more schools. In fact, Bridge City, the first school in Southeast Texas that I know of that started school today. Hard to imagine, third day of August. But yes, They did. You can also go and read the stories, Judge Brannick talking about some cases decreasing in Jefferson County for the second straight week. That hopefully is something that continues this week. Also this morning, teachers making a plea to the governor to keep the schools closed until September the 8th. That includes the TSTA, Texas State Teachers Association. Obviously not likely to happen since we already have some schools that are opening today. I can't imagine that you would open and then shut down the schools after you open them. But they are open and it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, when we look at this, when you're on the outside looking in from the school question, it's like, how does this really work? How does this all work? How do you have teachers are they teaching in classroom and virtual at the same time? How do you know students? I mean, obviously districts have been working on this, but the key to this whole thing is going to be flexibility, isn't it? I mean, that idea that you're going to have to, whether you're the parent, the teacher, the administrator, the student, that you're going to have to be flexible, that it's going to take some tweaking. You're going to, things are going to start and you're going to realize this doesn't work, or things are going to happen. You're going to go, this works better than we thought. Let's do more of it. Do you do away with all kinds of, any kind of recreation in school? I know they were talking about serving lunches in the classroom. It's going to be a new world when kids go back to school. And of course, a lot of them will not be going back. Many of them are going to do virtual learning. We know that to be a fact. But some districts are limiting virtual learning. Some of them, I'm sure, are struggling to be able to do it. A story this morning from Bridge City said they spent more than $200,000 to try to accommodate, their kids and staff when they return to school. It's not an inexpensive proposition for sure. And these schools that go back first, they're kind of going to be, the test case. They're going to be the ones everybody watches to see what happens. Do you have an increase in cases? Does it become a problem? Do you have an outbreak? All those things are going to have to, this is not going away. It's obviously not going to disappear one day. We're going to wake up and it's all going to be gone. So how do we learn to live safely with it and reduce the risk, right? All right, let's go back to stories we're following this morning. Also, a story about family members out at the Beaumont Prison facility, federal prison facility, who are protesting out in front because they're saying that the prison system hasn't done enough to keep their loved ones, who are inmates, protected inside. And I thought it was very important because almost the first comment that you hear from these people who are protesting is one of the loved ones saying, hey, we're not asking you to open the doors and turn people out. We know that they broke the law. We know that's why they're in jail, in prison. But what we're saying is, can you please make sure they're protected? That there's no reason that they shouldn't at least have the basic protections inside a prison. You can certainly weigh in on that this morning if you want to. You can go and watch the entire story, get an even better idea. Former Representative Steve Stockman, one of those inside, sorry, I hit the wrong button there, one of those inside the system who has gotten COVID-19. There's the story. And he is currently serving time in the federal prison camp in Beaumont. His wife, Patty Stockman, who has been very public about her concern over her husband because she says he's a diabetic, has asthma, suffers from high blood pressure, all conditions that make him what? Vulnerable. And she feels like she asked that he be released because he's a nonviolent offender. You have a thought on that this morning? You can post up. Of course. Let's look at some of the numbers this morning. These are the latest. And remember, it's a Monday. Monday numbers are always a little skewed because you don't have as many people reporting. And of course, you can say, well, Dan, all these numbers are skewed anyway. And I would tend to agree they are. Whether you think they're skewed low or high, how do you accurately, do this? I don't know. Because you don't have a consistent reporting system, it's hard to know. This is the Texas Tribune and their numbers this morning, where they suggest that 8,969 Texans are in the hospital for coronavirus as of August the 1st. And the good news is, look, 858 less than a week ago. That's good. New cases, 9,539. And again, there it gives you all the latest information. Plus, here's not the good number. 6,837 Texans has died as of August the 1st. That's 268 more deaths reported than the day before, and more than 1,500 in the last week. So that should kind of give you an understanding. And again, the numbers will be higher tomorrow when we get back to looking at some of the numbers that were not reported over the weekend. Also this morning, let's go back to comments this morning. Brian Abel says, give them masks to wear. That's what we're doing to stay safe. And I think that was one of the complaints from the loved ones was just give them enough protective devices, protective gear to take care of them. What they're also saying is, hey, why don't you, segregate the population? Their complaint is people who've tested positive are in the same room or I'm not going to say cell because it's larger than a cell. It's usually a dormitory when you get into those that part of the system. But they're saying they're not separated to the point that they're not being exposed. They feel like they are being exposed because they're not separated. Also this morning, how do you know they haven't, this is Zachary, I'm sorry, Zachary, I was right. How do you know they haven't been able to get any information? That's what some was saying, just a thought. I'm not quite following you there exactly where you were going with that one, and I do apologize. Let me also give a shout out this morning to Darlene Dorsey Pickens. Hi, Darlene. Do you know, Darlene, I still miss you. I think about you often, I do. And Darlene worked with us at Channel 6 a long time ago, many years ago, before she moved on to San Antonio and other points west. But some people that you have, that you work with, you just, when they're gone, they leave a hole. Darlene left a hole as far as I was concerned. Hi, Gene. Thanks for getting up with us this morning. All right, so you're kind of caught up on stories that are going on this morning. It's a Monday. There's not a whole lot. When we walk into the newsroom on a Monday morning, we're scrambling. We're like, okay, we have 4.5 hours to fill. What are we going to do for 4.5 hours? What are we going to, what's out there? What can we do? Let me give you some good news, okay? Some things that are not COVID related, that are not pandemic related, that might lift your spirits, I hope, this morning. I was just excited this weekend, and I didn't sit and just watch it, from start to finish, but I love the fact that we are now making space exploration privatizing it. Industries getting into it. SpaceX capsule. NASA crew makes first splashdown in 45 years. You have to go back to 1973 or something, for the last time that the United States, or for that, I guess, anyway involved in NASA, landed in the ocean. And SpaceX did it. You got to remember SpaceX, I want to call them a Texas company, but obviously, I don't know that that's a fair assessment. I mean, they're actually probably a California company. But the reality is, most of that testing is going on in South Texas. Launches may be going on at Cape Canaveral, but Doug Hurley, Bob Behnken came back to Earth on the SpaceX Dragon capsule and splashed down about 40 miles off the coast of Pensacola. Now, it was not without problem, but the problems were not serious. The problem was that they were splashing down, and obviously, when you bring a capsule back to Earth and it's steaming hot from entering the Earth's atmosphere, not to mention it's huge, it's a capsule, huge parachutes, 4 of them, those things come floating down, swinging down, right? here come private speedboats and private boaters. Like, hey, let's get out there. Maybe we can help them. SpaceX is kind of like, this shouldn't have happened. Maybe it was the one thing that they probably wanted to avoid. But other than that, I mean, they get off the capsule, thumbs up, we're good, and then almost immediately they're back in Houston. And again, that capsule will be used again, and Tesla has already proved, SpaceX, that they can reuse their rockets as well. They're not going to be one-time uses. So that was good, right? That was an uplifting thing. And here's another thing that kind of got my attention that I thought was, I don't know, it's kind of a throwback. Some folks will go, are you kidding me? They're bringing that back, really? But two-tone car paint is making a comeback. Nissan, Hyundai, among others, bringing back two-tone cars. Now, odds are they're few and far between are the people who really, okay, that's not fair. My mom and dad, they're very healthy. They would remember two-tone cars from the 50s. But I was thinking, well, we really had two-tone cars, but they weren't two-tone paints. Remember when you said they had the vinyl tops, or they would have the top painted a different color. But again, there you go. That body one color, top the other. And they're saying this is going to be the new thing. Two-tone cars. Some of them are less conspicuous than others. If you see that one coming at you, wow. There you go. Oh, there's one in two-tone okay. So anyway, you get the idea. We're talking about some of them will be way out there. Others will be cars that we may actually drive if we're lucky enough. I love cars. I like driving cars, but I have this affinity for manual transmission. And all I can see is that it's going away. And I think that's such a shame. Because I think, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to miss out on what can really be called the joy of driving. All right, I think we pretty much have used our time this morning, and to that end, I want to encourage you, as always, reach out to somebody in your community today. Don't live your life in the closet. Don't cower in the closet. Know the facts, know what's going on, know how you can best take care of yourself. I do want to point out one thing. I don't have the story, but I heard this morning, and I want to share it with some people, and that is the fact that Dr. Vic is saying that maybe if you live with somebody who's really has issue, here's how serious this outbreak has become, that even wearing a mask inside the house, if you have somebody who has secondary illness, who is susceptible to this, and you're going out on a regular basis and you're going to work, and you really want to make sure you don't want to take any chances, she's saying that maybe it comes down to even wearing a mask inside the house. I'm not sure I ever thought we'd be hearing that one, but you go look, that's what she said over the weekend. And again, she is the advisor to the White House on the coronavirus. A lot out there to take in. You know how to do it. Go out and ferret the truth, find the facts, live your life, but don't cower in the closet. There is a way that we're going to figure this out to live through it. And today is the first day of a brand new work week. Thought I was going to say the rest of your life. Well, it's probably that too. All right. Hey, that's it for me today. Again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it again. If you don't mind, just going ahead and get a comment, leaving us any kind of comment that you want. If you have a question, a thought that you want to leave with us, we'll read them even after we're off, and we'll see what we can do about bringing you some answers tomorrow, okay? So again, go out and make it a terrific day. I will look forward to seeing you back bright and early. Don't forget, KFDM.com is available 24/7. You can go there, and they're all the headlines of the day. We try to update them as much as humanly possible. And then, of course, coming up today at noon, Dana is back. He'll get you an update on what's going on in the forecast. Tad Ramford will also have a look at the headlines. Then back at 5, 5:36, 9, 10. And then we roll back around to the morning show bright and early tomorrow morning beginning at 4:30 a.m. on kfdm.com. Again, thanks for your time this morning. I do appreciate it. Go out and make it a terrific day. And remind you, too, that there are other ways that you can catch up with us. You can, of course, stay with Facebook at KFDM News. You can follow me on Twitter, Morning TV Dan, and then they're also on the YouTube channel at Dan's at Home. All right, again, go out and make it a terrific day. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Stay safe.